Have you ever wished that you could automatically buy an NFT whenever it drops below a certain price? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you how to make a bot that automatically buys NFTs from AtomicHub whenever they drop below whatever price that you set using the bot. Before we jump into the tutorial, I'm just going to show you the bot in action so we can see what the final product looks like. So the first thing that we need to do is pick an NFT that we want to buy. In this case, I'm just going to pick a random NFT from my AtomicHub wallet. And all I need to do is copy the asset ID, which is this number right here at the top of the screen. And I'm going to take that and I'm going to paste it into my bot, which I'll explain how to use shortly. I'm just going to paste it right here at this top line where it says asset ID. And then next, I just need to select how much I want to pay for this NFT. So on the second line here where it says desired price, I'm just going to say I want to pay 1 wax for it. And now I'll click save. And now to run my bot, I'm just going to open up terminal and type in this command. And as you can see, nothing is happening, and that's because the NFT is not listed for sale yet. So let's list that NFT for sale. And I'm going to list it for sale higher than the price that I set in my bot. I said that I only want to pay 1 wax for it. I'm going to set this for sale at 10 wax, just so we can see what happens with the bot. Okay, it took a minute before it started doing anything, I guess because it had to register on the blockchain first. But now that the sale is registered and the API is sending me that data, you can see that it's telling me, I'll let you know when I find something, but right now the price is higher than you want to pay. So now let's go and adjust the price and set it to 1 wax or less and see if the bot recognizes that it's a good deal and buys the NFT for us. So I'll go to the sale on AtomicHub here and edit the price. Now I'm going to change that to 1 wax and click confirm. Successful, and let's see if it goes through. Now it's telling me that there's a good deal. Just made a transaction, just made another transaction, and then it just made the final transaction and actually bought the NFT. And now if I go back to the sale page on AtomicHub, we can see that the listing was bought by MD Crypto NFTs, which was the account that my bot is using. And my balances went up to 20 wax in this account, which means I made a sale and collected some wax. So let me just shut this thing off now. All right, now let's jump into the actual code behind this. You guys aren't going to actually have to do any coding yourself because I've already written the scripts to run the bot. All you need to do is copy and paste the code that's in the article that I've linked in the description below, change a couple of variables, and then you can run the bot yourself. You just need to follow a couple of steps before we get started, and I'm going to show you guys how to do each one of those steps. The first thing that you're going to need is a text editor. I recommend Sublime Text or Visual Studio Code, but you can use any text editor that you want. You're also going to need Node.js installed on your system, which I'm going to show you how to do in a second. You'll need EOS.js, which I'll show you how to do in a second. And you're going to need the private key of a Wax wallet, which you can get by creating a new wallet using Anchor Wallet. And once you create your new wallet, you'll get a private key, and then you can use that for this tutorial. The first thing we need to do is create a new folder where we're going to be doing all our work. We're going to do that using Terminal, or if you're on a PC, that would be Command Prompt. You can open up Terminal on your Mac by typing Command space and then just typing Terminal into the search bar, or on Windows, just pull it up in the menu. Once you're there, type CD into the terminal and hit enter. That'll just make sure that you're at the root of your computer. And then we're going to create a new folder called bot by typing mkdir bot. And then we're going to enter that folder by typing cd bot. And then now you can see where it says my name here, admin. It says bot right next to it. That means that I'm in the bot folder. You want to make sure you're in the correct folder before you proceed with any of the steps in this tutorial, because if you install something in the wrong place, you're going to have a hard time trying to piece everything together. So make sure you're in the correct folder. And then the next thing you want to do is install Node.js. Before you install it, you can check if it's already installed on your computer by typing node-version. And you can see I have version 16.15.0, so I already have it. I don't need to install it. But if you don't get a message like that, You can install it by going to nodejs.org, and then you can just download the recommended for most users version. You don't want to install the other one because that's going to be untested and a little more buggy than the recommended one. Make sure you get the recommended version and install that on your computer, and then we can move forward. Okay, after you download Node.js, just type that same command in again, node-version, just to make sure that you got it installed properly. It should tell you what version you have. And then once it's downloaded, we are going to initialize a new project. Make sure that you're inside of the correct directory, like I said, the bot directory that we just created. And then you can type npm init-y, and it should say something like this. It'll create a file called package.json inside of the folder that you created. If you get that message, it means you did it successfully. All right, and then the next thing we're going to do is install EOS.js and a whole bunch of other things that go along with it. If you don't know what EOS.js is, it's not really that important. It's just a library that Wax blockchain works with. Wax is a clone of the EOS blockchain. EOS made some tools so that developers could build on their blockchain. Since Wax cloned EOS, Wax works with those same set of tools. So we're just going to install EOS.js, and that will allow us to interact with the Wax blockchain. You can do that by typing in this command here. I have this linked in the article in the description below, so you can just copy and paste it. It's npm install EOS.js, and there's a few other modules that we're going to be installing here too. And you just paste that in the terminal and hit enter. And give it a minute. It's going to install a few things. These are required for our bot to run. And then before we actually program our bot, there's just one more command that we need to enter. And that's this one right here, npm I node fetch at 2.6.1. That's linked in the article below as well. But if you type that into terminal and hit enter, what that command just did is downgrade one of the packages that we just installed. Our bot doesn't work with the newer version of that package, so we need to downgrade it in order for our bot to work with it. You might also get this message after you do that says one high security vulnerability, and you can just type npm audit fix, and it'll patch that right up. And then now it says found 0 vulnerabilities. All right, so now we can move forward and actually program our bot. So I want you to open up your text editor now and create a new file called bot.js inside of the bot folder that we just created a minute ago. And once you do, you can go to the article in the description below, scroll all the way down to the bottom. Well, not all the way down, but most of the way down. And you have this huge block of code right here. You're going to copy this and then paste it into your new file that you just created called bot.js. And it's going to look something like this. And you don't really need to worry about anything that's in this file. The only lines that are really important to you are right at the top here. The first one is the asset ID, and that's the NFT that you want to buy. And you can get that by just going on AtomicHub, going to the page of the actual NFT, and it's this ID number right here, or it's at the top of the page also right here. Not the pound sign, but everything else next to it. So you just copy it and paste it in between these quotes right here. Next, you have the desired price on the second line. That's how much you're willing to pay in Wax. Now, this number right here might look like a lot, but this is actually 1 Wax. Wax has a precision of 8 decimal points, and this is just the way that it's formatted. So you have to put the whole number that you want to pay and then 8 zeros after it. So 1 with 8 zeros after it would be 1 Wax. Or if I wanted to do, let's say, 1.5 Wax, I would do 1 with a 5 and then 7 zeros after it. And the third and fourth lines here, your file is actually going to look a little bit different. Yours is just going to say const private keys equals your private key here. And then you just paste your private key in between those quotes. The reason that mine looks a little bit different is because I'm obviously not going to have my private keys shown on the screen now. So I save them in a different file, and I'm importing them into my file so that I can still use them without showing them on the screen. And then the fourth line, the actor, would be the account that you're actually going to be using to make these transactions. So that's just your Wax wallet. Mine's MD Crypto NFTs. And then everything after that is just us establishing a connection to the blockchain, requiring some of the packages that we need in order for the script to run. And then down here where it says async function get sales, this URL is the API that we're going to be getting the information from. So this is us basically making a request to the Wax blockchain and saying, we want some information about this NFT. Let me know if there are any sales for this NFT. And then if that returns information, then we perform everything all the way down to the bottom. So if that works, then for each sale that it finds on that page, it's going to go through a whole set of actions. It's going to get the price, it's going to get the sale ID, it's going to tell us whether that NFT is listed for sale for Wax or if it's listed for a USD price, because we have to make some different calculations, and the transactions are actually different if someone lists it for Wax versus if they list it for USD. So we have to figure all that stuff out, make some calculations, and pretty much what it comes down to is if we find one that's for sale. So right here in this line right here, it says if symbol equals Wax, that means if the person listed it for Wax instead of USD. And if the price is less than or equal to the price that we want to pay. And if the state equals 1, then do all this stuff below. Make some transactions, buy the NFT, whatever. State equals 1 just means the NFT is actually for sale. The way the blockchain works is a sale can exist, but it might not actually be for sale. I know that doesn't really make sense. Let's say I listed an item for sale and then somebody bought it. Well, that sale is still going to show on the blockchain, but it's going to have a different state. It's going to be state 3. This sale was already bought. Well, we don't care about that. We only care about if it's actually listed for sale and I can buy it right now. So if the state equals 1, then we want to perform our calculations. All right, so everything under here is just a bunch of numbers, and then we have this function right here is going to assert the sale. So to buy an NFT on Wax, there are 3 functions that have to happen. The first one is assert sale. So that's you basically telling the blockchain, I'm about to buy this NFT in a minute, so get ready. So that's one transaction. And then if that goes through successfully, our terminal is going, or our bot is going to tell us the assert sale transaction went through, and then it's going to continue forward and move on with the next transaction, which is a transfer right here to the Atomic Market contract. You're not actually buying the NFT directly from the person that's selling it. That person is selling the NFT to Atomic Market, and you're buying the NFT from Atomic Market. So Atomic Market is like the middleman here. So you have to make a deposit to Atomic Market, and then they're going to spend the money on that NFT and then buy the NFT and transfer it to you. That's actually what happens when you use AtomicHub. You just don't know it because you don't have to worry about it. So that's transaction number 2. If it goes through successfully, our bot's going to tell us the Wax deposit transaction went through. And then it's going to move forward to the next function here, which is called the purchase sale function. And that's our bot actually making the purchase. So there's 3 transactions total that have to happen there. And I have this set up so that if the first transaction fails, the second one is never going to get bothered with. It won't happen out of order. It'll happen in order. Yeah, and then if it goes through, our bot's going to tell us the purchase sale transaction went through, and then that's it. It's done. But we also have this line right here that tells us basically if it's for sale, but the price is too high, it just tells us it's a crappy deal. And then we have down here pretty much the exact same thing that we just went over. But in this case, it's if the person lists it for sale for USD instead of listing it for sale for Wax. Because in that case, we have to make some different calculations. We have to figure out how many Wax we have to spend, and the actions are slightly different, but it's the same concept. Okay, so once you actually have this filled out, once you have your own private key put in here, you've set the desired price where you want it, and you've picked an asset ID, and you put your own wallet name as the actor. Assuming you have the available resources in your wallet to make this transaction, you can use the bot by opening up terminal, making sure you're in the correct folder. So you can do that by just typing CD, that'll bring you to your root, and then type CD bot. That'll bring you into the bot folder. You can run the bot. If it's saved as bot.js, for example, you can just type node bot. And I don't actually have that in there because I changed the name of the file a minute ago. But if I go into the correct folder for me, which is bot.old, and then I type node bot 2. It runs one time. It tells me I'll let you know if I find something. But that's not good enough for us because we want this thing to be running nonstop, right? We don't want it to just run one time and stop. Well, the way we can handle that is by creating another file inside of the same folder. So inside of your bot folder, create a new file called runbot.sh. sh is a shell file. It basically just means it executes terminal commands. For example, how you just typed in node bot into the terminal. If you create a shell file, that shell file will actually do that command for you. So you don't even need to go in there and type those commands in. You save your command right here inside of the run bot file. So create a file called runbot.sh and just type this into it, except make sure you have the correct name for your bot file. Mine's named bot2. Yours should be bot.js, so just change this to node bot. But this is in my article that's linked in the description below, so you can just copy and paste this command. And what this is doing here is basically saying, while true, which is basically always, it's always true, then do this, execute the node bot script, then sleep for 5 seconds, and then you're done. And then do the same thing over and over and over again. The reason I have it set to sleep 5 is because if you try to make too many calls to the API, if you try to ask the blockchain too many questions too fast, what they're going to do is ban you. They're going to ban your IP address because they're going to think you're spamming the network or you're taking advantage of their system, basically. So you have to wait a few seconds in between making requests. So I have it set to 5 seconds. And when you do this, and then you go back into terminal, instead of typing node bot, what you can type is sh, and then enter the name of the file you just created. So run bot.sh. And now it doesn't just go one time. It goes, it waits 5 seconds, goes again, waits 5 seconds. And this is just going to keep happening until either I exit out of this terminal window or my computer shuts down or whatever. You can exit out of it just by typing Control-C, and that'll just end whatever process you're doing in your terminal. And that's basically everything you need to know. That's how the bot works. If you're having any problems with it, make sure to check the link to the article in the description below. And you can also join my Discord and my Telegram and ask me questions there, which I'll link in the description below as well. One other thing to note is that I'm obviously not a professional developer here. I'm not the greatest at this, but this works. Don't expect this to be perfect, and accept any risks that you run when you run this bot. I'm not responsible for anything that happens with it. Use it responsibly, be careful, and don't put a lot of money in the wallet that you're using with this bot either. Just take it easy and be safe. If you have any suggestions about how I can make this better or features that you would like to see added to it, let me know. Oh, and also there's actually one other thing that I wanted to test out before we wrap things up here. I want to test this out against the AtomicHub front end. So basically I want to see how long is an NFT available on AtomicHub? Like how long can a user see it before my bot buys it? So let's test that out. Let's pick an asset in my wallet. So this one's kind of worthless right here. Let's take this one, copy the asset ID, put it into the bot, and we'll say if it's less than 1 wax, less than or equal to 1 wax, then we want to buy it. All right, I've got that saved. Let's open up the bot. Just going to get this command ready. I'm not going to hit enter yet. Okay, so I have the market page open for these NFTs, this collection. I have it sorted by newest listings. And as soon as I list this for sale, I'm just going to keep refreshing that page to see when I can see it, when it pops up. And I'll also have my bot open on the screen so we can see what happens first. Does my bot get to it before it even gets listed? Let's find out what happens. So we'll list it for 1 wax, hit confirm, start running the bot, and now refresh this page. Nothing yet. Nothing yet. Still nothing. My GPU is going crazy right now. Do you hear that? There's still nothing. So what's happening here is the API is taking a minute to get this data. That's why it's not showing on AtomicHub either. All right, my bot just found it. My bot just made the assert sale transaction. I still don't see it on AtomicHub. Deposit transaction. Balance is lower. Shit, yeah, I didn't have enough money. It's going to do it again, though. I still don't see it on AtomicHub. All right, so there it went. It went through and it never even appeared on the AtomicHub front end. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, never showed up, and we got it. So, and as you can see, my balance here on AtomicHub went up to 21 wax. So we did actually buy it and went through. One thing you might have noticed here is, all right, assert sale transaction went through, wax deposit transaction went through, and then I didn't have enough money in my balance on the atomic market contract. And then since the script that we used runs the file over and over again, it created this assert sale transaction again. It deposited more wax to the contract, and then it made the purchase. So we made 2 deposits to the contract is my point here. We deposited twice as much as we needed to. I guess what happened on the first transaction is it just hadn't confirmed on the blockchain and become finalized yet. So even though it technically went through, the third transaction tried to execute before the second one had actually become irreversible on the blockchain. One way to get around this is you can actually deposit to the atomic market contract before you even try to make any transactions. And then you can just remove the deposit transaction completely from the script and just not even have it there and skip over it. Or one other thing that you can do is, if in this case you deposit too much by accident, you can go to wax.blocks.io, type in atomic market. This will bring up the atomic market page, atomic market contract. Click on the contract button right here. And then under tables, you can see that there's the balances section. So if I type in under lower bound, if I type in MD crypto NFTs, refresh, you can see I have a balance here of 1.96 wax. You can withdraw that if you ever deposit too much. You just go to actions, click on withdraw, type in your account name, and then enter how much you want to withdraw. So let's say I want to withdraw 1 wax. You might need to put the 8 zeros. Let me see. So now it's going to open up my wallet, ask me to confirm the transaction. All right, so the problem here is that I didn't put the 8 zeros. You have to put 1.00000000 wax. And then now if I try to make that transaction, your action was successfully pushed. And then if we go back to the tables page to check my balance again, now you can see I have 0.96 instead of 1.96. So it went through successfully. Got the wax back in my wallet. If I go to my wallet page, you can see I just received 1 wax from Atomic Market. So if you ever deposit too much to the contract, that's all you have to do. It's no big deal. But you should be careful, because if there's something wrong with the final transaction, so for example, if the first 2 go through and then something's wrong with the final one, those first 2 are going to keep going through. And if you have a bunch of wax in your wax wallet, it's going to keep depositing over and over and over to the contract. Like I said, I'm not a professional developer, so that's just one of the things you might have to deal with. So just don't keep too much money in the bot and you should be fine. But worst case scenario, you can just easily get it back anyway. It's not a big deal. So that's it. If you'd like to see more videos like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, join my Discord or Telegram. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace out.